spend every day and every night struggling to live life, regretting not being the person I thought I would be as I was growing up. Life didn't always used to be like this. When I was a little girl, about 6 or so years old, my family left Ireland to come to America. At the time, it was just me and my baby sister who was only a year old. Neither of us knew what this would entail. From what I've learned now, at 16 and just 10 years after coming here, I think it would have been much better if we had stayed in Ireland. Coming to this wretched place has completely teared my family apart. When we first came here, both my mother and father had jobs, and I would do little things like babysitting or cooking while looking after my sister. I still remember waking up early every morning for my dad to come back from work since he worked at night. I would meet him by the front door, face planted. When he arrived, he would pick me up in his arms and kiss my forehead before having his morning tea. However, when I turned 8 years old, things changed. My mother gave birth to twins. Unfortunately, one of them was born dead and the other was born with club feet. This birth completely changed the atmosphere in my home. My parents became depressed, lost the light in their eyes, and stopped talking to each other. The love between them had been crushed by the adversity. My mother became depressed and quiet. Every time I would try to talk to her, she would tell me, "Mia, go away." So then I would try to find comfort in my father. However, he had already looked to liquor. Pretty soon, my father would come home drunk and fight with my mother. I tried to stop it, but instead my father would just hit me. However, I was afraid of their fights because I didn't want to lose them. So I would try to create a distraction by breaking something, so my parents would yell at me instead of at each other. Then one day, they both had an argument. They were so loud I heard them from across the street while I was babysitting our neighbor's 4-year-old with both my sisters. As I heard them, I ran back to see what was happening. I had my little baby sister on my shoulder and the other sister, who was only 3, clutching my finger, and my neighbor's son was holding onto my sister's hand. And we all saw my dad storming out with the luggage at hand and walking toward the darkness of the night. I dropped my sisters and ran to get my dad, but he didn't stop. He kept on walking and walking until he got to the train station, and then he got on the train. I ran after him and even tried to get on the train, but it was of no use. He, along with the train, had already left. So I returned home and saw my mom bawling her eyes out. This lasted for many weeks and my mom became weaker. It was horrific. I can't think of anything else that worse. We used to be such a happy family back in Ireland. We were still poor and faced great difficulties, but there was nothing that could break us. After my father's leave, my family was shattered. The one thing that mattered to me the most was no longer there. It changed me. I still sit by the window sometimes and hope that my father will return, and hope that he still cares about me and my mom and my siblings enough to come back to us. But it's useless. I'm disappointed every time, and seeing my parents apart hurts me. I hate seeing my mother buried in her sadness. Every day I try to keep her happy because I'm afraid that I might lose her too. I thought that if I let my mom turn herself into a living corpse, she might do the same thing that my father did, leave us. I'm so terrified of even thinking this. To this day, I still fear her of abandoning her children. Therefore, I have taken it upon my shoulders to take care of her and what's left of my family. This led me and my sister to work at the fish market. It was a simple job. All day we would chop the heads of the fish and sort them out. One day, as we were working, I tried to look professional and chop the fish without looking down. Little did I notice that my sister's hand was right there. It was a bloody scene. I was standing there with the knife in my hand that I had used to slice my own sister's hand. I had frozen up as she was crying her poor eyes out. As a result, we both quit the job in fear of making another mistake. Also, this incident created a guilt within me, for I was the reason why my sister Ruth only has one hand. Working is the hardest part of my life. The work I have to do to take care of my family is degrading. I'm a saleswoman, but that doesn't earn me much, so like other women, I've resorted to prostitution. This earns me a lot of money because of my age. I'm still 16 and youthful. My body shows no signs of aging and I make sure of it. After all, in this business, no one wants an old-looking woman. I have let the devil absorb me, break me down, and completely destroy who I was proud to be. I'm still proud, just not for the same reasons. I'm proud that I'm dependable and determined. Proud that my family is able to rely on me to take care of them. I'll go to any length for them and I'll never give up to support them, for it's my sole purpose in life. To do this, I've gave myself up to the sexist and immoral society. But all that doesn't matter when I get the money in hand to give to my family. I still remember that day when I came home with a lot of money and was able to completely feed my family. I was even able to get this little doll for my sisters to play with. This is my best memory. Back in Ireland, I had dolls to play with, but here, my sisters didn't have anything. I was so glad to see the big smiles appear on their faces when I got them the doll, and I was even happier I was the one who was able to get it for them. From then on, it has become a habit of mine to try to find little luxuries for my family. Living my life like this, I try not to think about the future. I don't want to think about what will happen if I become useless to my family. As I age, it will be harder for me to find work, which will mean no money. Not too while ago, there was this woman who does the same work as me and didn't get money because she's aging. The man who hired her treated her really badly, so she refused and he beat her. As a result, her family faced hunger. If I was her, I would have understood that I've become older and accepted what comes with it. I would have just let the person treat me a little roughly. At least I would have received money to feed my family. This instance, though, made me see what being old will mean for me. However, this type of work isn't dangerous, so it won't shorten my lifetime. In fact, I expect to live for a long time. The environment that I live in isn't harmful. I eat enough for my body to function, and my work isn't hard. I either have to try to find people to make sales to for which I get some money, or try to find men who will hire me. Yes, it will become harder as I start to age and problems will arise, but I'll be accepting as I can be and won't let it affect my health. And I hope that by that time, the government has figured out a solution to this problem. Who knows, maybe prostitution will forever be diminished. Just recently, I saw this article about it in the newspaper. There was even a picture with it. In the picture, there was a girl who was wearing an apron, which showed that she was the one running the house. Also, there was a sign that showed what the girl was getting herself into. And then, there was even a promiscuous dress and a bed. And then on the table, there was a calendar which had names of men written on it. This picture showed what life for girls like me is like. Seeing this in the newspaper provided some hope for me that there might be a change in the future. I really hope there is. But until then, I gave myself up to this miserable society. As for now, I just live every day for my family. I think I have turned into a living corpse because I barely talk to anyone in my family. I just work and come home with food and my family eats it. I have started to feel no emotions anymore. But whatever, it doesn't matter because I have to be the man of the house. Here lies the remains of a strong yet broken girl. She was both beautiful and amazing. She never complained to anyone. She took what life gave her as silently as possible. She lost herself trying to understand the meaning of life. She gave up so much for her family. Eventually, the pain broke her down. Her sufferings ate her alive. May others learn from her and don't let her go unnoticed.